A monk stands over the edge of a Malaysian cliff. While gazing over the breathtaking panorama, he lowers his hood, revealing his identity. Stephen A. Smith has spent over 10 years away from the game. Sports shows are no more. In fact, all sports are on their way to becoming a relic of the past. No one could have guessed he'd be this missed.
That's me. You're probably wondering how I got here.
The scene cuts back to 5 years ago. Stephen A. Smith is currently filming SportsCenter on ESPN. He's in the middle of a heated argument with Max Kellerman about LeBron James.
At the time, he was arguably the best basketball player in the world. He's currently fourth behind Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson.
Max Kellerman is furious at the statement and furiously retorts,
"Who cares where he ranks? He's the best player in the world right now. I would sell my own grandmother for a title like that."
The two argue back and forth until Smith eventually walks away from the set. It's not unusual behavior for him. He doesn't care about the opinions of outsiders. That's just not who he is. Kellerman follows him off of the set.
"What the fuck was that, man? You can't just walk off the set. We're trying to sell a show to the people,"
he says as he farts in his face.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Max. I just can't be an outsider. I need to be a part of a team. I can't be some independent thinker.
"What are you talking about? You built your whole career on being an outsider. Let's get back in there. Next segment is on top 10 Pacquiao fails."
Stephen A. sighs.
That's the second time this week. I'm never coming back here again. You don't want me to be on your show. Well, guess what? I don't want to be on yours either.
Stephen A. storms off towards his SUV. Max Kellerman chases after him. He grabs Stephen A. by the collar.
"You dumb motherfucker, what do you think you're doing? You have a job to do. I'm not going to do it for you. You need to work on your own game. That's why you make the big bucks. Now go back into the studio and finish your show."
No, Max. We do this time and time again. I shout nothing but facts and logic at you, and all you offer is bullshit excuses.
Max Kellerman farts and then pulls out his phone.
"I didn't want to do this."
Suddenly, two black vans labeled ESPN pull up on either side of Stephen. He quickly hops into one of the vans while Kellerman watches from the curb.
"Good riddance,"
he mutters, and then goes back into the studio. The vans take off. Stephen is thrown to the floor of the moving van.
What the hell is going on?
The masked men begin stomping on his ribcage. He feels bones break with each stomp.
Why are you doing this?
We're doing this because the boss told us to. But I'm doing this because of the shit you said about Kwame Brown, you dumb motherfucker.
He stomps on his ribs 5 more times till every one of his ribs are broken. He screams for his mother.
"Shut the motherfucking fuck up."
One of the men says,
I have a son. Please don't kill him, please.
He cries. He cries and cries until his body is covered in his own blood.
We don't want your son. We want you to do your job.
The man says as they continue to stomp on him. Blood runs down his lips and drips down his chin.
I'm sorry, Max Kellerman, I'm sorry.
It is then that he passes out. Stephen A. Smith slowly wakes up. A bright light shines on his face, bringing him back to reality. As he recovers, he feels like something is holding him down. Once he's fully aware, he realizes that he's back in the ESPN studio with shackles on his wrists.
Ah!
Max Kellerman sits beside him.
"Are you ready, old friend?"
An intern nervously counts down.
Mr. Smith, we're live in 3, 2, 1.
I'm so glad you're here, Max. I was going to say something to you the other day at Taco Bell, but it never came up. You were mumbling and incoherent. I didn't know what you were saying. You probably thought I didn't hear you right. I wanted to say something to you in private right there, but it just didn't happen. I'm sorry.
Anyways, back to the show. What do you think of the latest Laker game?
Smith looks at his shackled hands. A feeling of defeat overwhelms him. Kind of like how the Lakers were defeated the night before. He looks at the camera and says,
I'm not sure if this game and season mean anything to the Los Angeles Lakers anymore. If they ever did. I'm no longer sure if I care.
The camera pans to him, and Kellerman smiles. The reason Kellerman smiles is to hide his anger towards Smith. Smith doesn't have the power to give a fuck about the Lakers anymore.
Ha ha, you can't possibly mean that, right?
Kellerman asks, kicking Smith in the shin. Smith winces in pain.
Yeah, you're right, I don't. The Lakers did great last night.
Kellerman smiles in triumph.
Good, now let's get back to the show.
He says, and then raises his arms in victory. This sends the intern into shock as he counts down from 10.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And the studio is plunged into darkness. The only light in the entire studio is coming from a single candle held by the intern. Somehow, the cameras are still rolling. Smith is horrified and confused. Kellerman begins to laugh and gets onto the desk.
They cut off the power because of your "fuck the Lakers" comment. Well, I have some news for you, fucker. We're bringing the candle because the power is out.
The camera continues to roll as the intern waves the small candle in Smith's face.
Let's try this again. Stephen A., you had a wacky comment about LeBron's outfit from last night, right?
Stephen A. thinks about his family. He knows what he signed up for. The fight has left his body. He takes a deep breath as he tries to find the strength to get through one more day. He says weakly,
Yeah, that game stunk. LeBron wore a dress to the game. It was retarded. I said so. What do you think?
Kellerman smiles, and his smile never goes away.
Well, people, we have a verdict. Your vote has been unanimous. You think LeBron wore a dress to the game last night. How do you think that affects the Los Angeles Lakers? Give me a call at 555-5555. By the way, we're going to have a special message from our sponsor tonight. That's right. We're talking about Taco Bell. Who would want to eat a Taco Bell right now?
Smith knows his line. He responds.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Yummy yum.
The intern blows out the candle. Another successful broadcast. Stephen A. whimpers.
Max, can I go home now?
Kellerman laughs and says,
No, you can't go home. You have a few more things to say about the Lakers, don't you? Don't you?
Fuck this shit. I'm going home. Please, can I go home now?
Kellerman kicks him in the shin again. Stephen A. holds in his grunt. Kellerman kicks him again, hard enough to break his shin.
Ag!
I'm not feeling you. Are you hearing me, Smith? I'm going to give you one final chance to redeem yourself. Tell me about last night's LeBron James game.
Tearfully, Smith says,
It was the worst sporting experience of my entire life. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for all of us. I never want to be associated with the Los Angeles Lakers again. Fuck the Los Angeles Lakers.
I see. I'm liking what I'm hearing. Tell me more.
Fuck the Los Angeles Lakers. Fuck the Los Angeles Lakers.
Good, now that's more like it. We're back. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Kellerman says, and then stands up and walks off the set. The cameras turn off. Stephen falls from his seat and lands on the ground. The broken man begins to cry. A group of masked men approach him once more. One of them says,
Manny Pacquiao sends his regards.
The men throw him in the van and escort him home.
Ag!
Stephen A. can't let his family know what's going on at work. It would only put him in danger. Stephen A.'s wife hugs him. She doesn't notice his broken ribs and asks,
How was work?
Smith limps past her and answers,
Work was great.
He lays in bed that night wondering when it's going to stop. It hurts to breathe. He hears a knock on his door. He tries to ignore it, but the knocking persists. He gets up out of his bed and answers the door. It's Max Kellerman and Skip Bayless, and they don't look happy.
What the hell do you want?
We need you to do a little research for us.
What? I don't feel well. I need to rest my ribs.
This can't wait, Stephen.
Bayless the Old says. He opens his briefcase and takes out a paper and hands it to Smith. It reads, Who are the greatest NBA players of all time?
Research. It can't wait. You're the only one who knows the answer to this question.
Fine.
He sits down at his computer and types in the question. The first page that comes up on the screen is titled, Who are the greatest NBA players of all time? Smith laughs out loud. He says,
I can't believe you're asking me this question. Of course, it's Michael Jordan over LeBron James, even though LeBron got to play with more NBA championships.
Great. Now, can you write the answer to the next page? Or maybe you'd like to elaborate on why Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time?
Sure.
He types the answer and a new page comes up on the screen. It reads,
Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player because he is a great individual, he is a great defender, he is a great rebounder, he has great court vision, and he is a great playmaker. In addition, he is a great leader and a great inspiration to the young kids that want to play the game and succeed at it.
I call that insight. Now, can we get on to the next one?
Fine, what do you want to know? Other than who are the greatest NBA players?
What is the greatest weakness of the Los Angeles Lakers?
Smith thinks for a second.
I guess the weakness of the Los Angeles Lakers is that they got a lot of older players. They might get to the age where they can't play as many minutes or they can't play at all anymore.
Great. And what is the greatest strength of the Los Angeles Lakers?
I'm pretty sure you already know what the greatest strength of the Los Angeles Lakers is. They have a lot of money.
What else?
Smith thinks for a second.
Well, maybe their greatest strength is that they seem like a family. I'm not sure how you can measure that, but it's something that you can't put a price on.
What else?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they seem like a pretty fun group of people. I wouldn't mind playing for them if they ever needed a team member.
Thanks for your time, Stephen.
Wait, that's it?
That's it.
I'm done?
You are done.
Kellerman says, and then he turns and leaves the room. Bayless the Old, however, is still in the room and is angrily looking at Stephen.
We need to have a conversation, you and I.
What? Oh, sure, what is it about?
You're a smart man. You must have some ideas.
Well, I'm not a mind reader. What is it?
What would you do if you were in my shoes?
Boot you out the door?
I'm serious. If you were in my place, what would you do?
I guess I'd try to get a rise out of you and see how far I could push you.
Bayless the Old is amused by the response, but he is not satisfied with the answer.
I need real suggestions and not just empty words.
I don't know what to tell you, Skip. I've never had a real job in my life. What would you do? I don't know.
Did I ever tell you why I left First Take?
No, you never told me that.
I didn't think so. I'll tell you now. I left because I wanted to have more creative control. I wanted to have a bigger role in what was going on. It's obvious that I didn't have that much creative control on that show because that show is a mess. Ratings are down. When I see you with shackles on your wrists, I know it's time to make a change.
Wait, hold up. What are you saying? You're firing me?
No, I'm freeing you.
Bayless the Old takes out an old dagger and thrusts it into Smith's shackles, freeing him.
Yeah, you're freeing me, but what if Kellerman finds out?
I'll deal with Kellerman. Leave that to me.
But what happens when he finds out?
Kellerman won't know anything about this. I'll make sure of that. And if he does find out, he'll have no choice but to give me his approval.
But what happens if...
If what? You want a guarantee? I'll give you 100% guarantee. If Kellerman catches us right here, right now, he'll kill us both. It's now or never, Stephen.
Stephen weighs the options, finally deciding to leave with Bayless. He wants to ask if he can say goodbye to his family, but Bayless the Old's gaze tells him all he needs to know.
You know what you need to do? Get that body out of their sight.
What? But...
Just go, before Kellerman finds out, or you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
Okay.
Bayless hands him a card.
Here's my private line, use it. And listen, you're free, now go.
Okay.
Stephen gets into his car and heads to the airport. He knows that he's made some bad decisions, but he figures that it's better than being dead. He's wrong. We return to the present day. Stephen A. Smith stares out over the cliff. His ribs are healed, his wrists unshackled. Stephen left the booming world of sports analysis for serenity and escape. So much time has passed that these moments feel like bad dreams. Kellerman and crew were never able to put together a show that could compete with what they had with Smith. Stephen was just too witty and lovable. America missed him. The world may miss Steven, but he is finally where he wants to be. As long as he doesn't look down the long, rocky path that leads to the edge of the cliff, he will be happy. As he looks over the cliff, he's greeted by fellow monk, Dolma. Dolma puts his hand on Steven's shoulder.
My brother, why is that you look over the cliff so often?
Smith smiles and says,
I'm just thinking of another life.
He looks at Dolma and adds,
It's a long story.
I think we all have them. Let's go, brother.
The two take a seat on the grass and enjoy the late afternoon sun. The two men are enjoying their meditations. Smith takes in the sight around him and sees many of his fellow monks enjoying themselves with various activities. He closes his eyes to go into his special place when an explosion shakes the floor of the monastery. The monks and Dolma look at each other in shock. Suddenly, a group of armed terrorists dressed in black storm the monastery.
Nobody move, or we will kill everyone in this room.
It's Max Kellerman. He storms into the monastery.
What the hell is going on here? Who are you people?
A monk approaches him.
We are the ones who are trying to save this country from dictatorship. That's who we are.
I don't give a goddamn about your third world country.
He takes out a gun and begins blasting the monk's ribs. The monk crumples to the ground in pain.
Stop! You can't do this!
Dolma yells. Kellerman continues to blast the monk's ribs, lungs, and face.
Stop this! This is murder!
Kellerman points his gun at Dolma and laughs.
Ha 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 ha. I don't care. I'm going to kill everyone in this room.
You're not killing anyone in this room. I'm not letting you pass.
Then I'll kill you. I'll kill them all.
Kellerman points his gun at the other monks.
You, and you.
The monks all point at each other and say their goodbyes, terrified that they'll never see their loved ones again.
Don't worry, I'll send the police. But first, I'm going to get that freak Smith. I'm going to make him bleed real good. I'm going to make him bleed for what he did to me.
He fires a shot at Dolma, but the bullet doesn't land. At first, Kellerman is surprised, but he looks to the side of Dolma and sees Smith with his fist out. Smith opens his hand, revealing the bullet Kellerman shot.
Yeah, you cheated. You don't deserve to live. You deserve to die like the dog you are. You'll join the rest of these traitors in hell, you bastard.
Good.
Stephen A. throws the bullet back at Kellerman, hard enough to break skin. In shock, Kellerman charges at Smith, only to be subdued by his newfound strength and courage. Stephen flings Max across the ground. Kellerman is cornered. Behind him, another long, rocky cliff. Just as Smith thinks he has the upper hand, Kellerman begins to laugh.
What are you laughing at, you bastard?
You're not getting out of this alive. I'm going to kill you, Smith, so help me, goddammit, I'm going to kill you.
I think you've proven your hatred to me, Max. Now I think I'll prove mine.
Smith reaches into his pocket and takes out 2 old broken shackles. With all his strength, he throws them at Max's face, causing him to lose balance. He begins to fall over the cliff. Before he does, he says to Smith one last time,
Who's the greatest of all time?
Not you.
With that, Max Kellerman disappears from existence. Stephen A. Smith is left sitting alone on the grass, staring at the cliff's edge, the same grass he sat on when he first escaped hell. He turns to the right and sees a flock of pigeons taking off from a nearby building. He turns to the left and sees the sun slowly set over the sea. He closes his eyes to enjoy the last few moments of a beautiful evening in California.